and Sohini, and to the many viewers of Pan-Africa TV globally. It is no news to wake up to see or to hear that a government for the people of Burkina Faso will be under such torrent attacks, and efforts are being made to subdue and to overpower them. Particularly so that Burkina Faso and its antecedents, it's evident that there are upright people. And by the way, that is the meaning of Burkina Faso, land of upright people. And so that there are still upright men and women after Thomas Sankara. And if you go to Burkina Faso and you see how people still hail the exploits, the things that Thomas Sankara did. He came in as a military leader, but within 2 to 3 years, he had been able to change the name from Upper Volta to Burkina Faso, using 2 major words from the 2 major tribes of the country. And bringing the 2 words together, he said that this is the land of the upright people. Within that same period, Burkina Faso was transformed. Their economy, which was largely a desert, today, a lot of produce comes from that economy. And he took lessons probably from Gaddafi and ensured that the people of Burkina Faso became food self-sufficient. They were able to employ themselves. He was one of the persons who went to the Organization of Africa Unity in 1987 and told them that debt that we owe the West is part of the colonial legacy, and that it is part of the wars of conquest, and that these colonialists chose to impoverish us, making it very difficult, and that we run back to their institutions to go and take loans so that we can continuously be under their colonial control. And therefore, he advocated that, look, Africans should say we will not pay our debt. But those countries that were willing to pay, that they can jump into the next flight the next day and go to the IMF and pay. And that his call, if not backed by the Organization of African Unity, that he will not be back in 1988 to the same summit. And truly, by the time he got back, they got Blaise Compaoré, who was his 2IC, and supported by Houphouët Boigny of Côte d'Ivoire and other French puppets to orchestrate, and they killed him. His grave that was marked, which I have visited several times, people even doubt whether it was his body that was put there until the body was exhumed recently and taken even to France or Geneva to go and determine whether he is actually. And you know, the trial that went in for justice to be brought, and the wife is extremely excited about it. So I am not surprised that Ibrahim Traoré, who is seen as the second Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, speaking and acting in the interest of the people of Burkina Faso, would come under such severe attacks. What has France done? And you recall that in one of the occasions when France said that they were going to curtail all aid, as the United States of America is going to do in Gabon. And they said they are going to curtail aid to Burkina Faso. Yeah. Ibrahim Traoré came and said they have kept long. And that for several years, in fact for nearly 60 years, they had been giving them aid from France. And that this aid has not taken the people out of poverty. So they are already poor. So whether you give them aid or not, they will be fine. And so that pronouncement alone sent a lot of pain. That look, this man is calling our bluff. We say we will not give them aid any longer. Our institutions that claim they used to support them and they are poor, they are not interested in us any longer. Number 2, they have said that they want to work with the Malian regime, and that Mali and Burkina Faso are but one country, divided and partitioned by colonialists. So they will want to have common ties and work even towards a union with the Malian regime. That is a threat to France, because France is not excited by the exploits in Mali, where Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta was overthrown, They thought that they had got a puppet regime, and then all of a sudden they lost it. They are not happy with what happened in Guinea, and they are not happy with what happened in Burkina Faso, and of course recently what has happened in Niger. You know, the French system of assimilation gave chance for some people that were considered to be of good behavior to actually be Frenchmen in black skin. You know that? Unlike the indirect rule that made you to be in your country, with the French system, once you became a person of good behavior, it simply means that you compromise and you sold out to the interests of France. You became a citizen of France. You could go into the House of Deputies in France, that is House of Parliament in France. You were considered a national of France, and you could do everything there. Such characters are still within French West Africa, who still believe that they are Frenchmen in black skin, and so they should do things for the interests of France. And don't forget that France, for many years, using their military training in school, the Napoleon School, has trained a lot of French people. And so most of them have been indoctrinated. And so when they see those that have become politically upright and ideologically correct, as to fight the French system like Kwame Nkrumah fought the colonialists after he traveled there, they cannot be happy. They will come back and use the same military to want to undermine the efforts that is being made to retake Africa for Africans. And so it did not come as a surprise to me to hear that coup d'etats or attempted coup d'etats have been made. In the Mali case, it has not been anything different. Probably they have not publicized it. But I know that about 7 attempted coup d'etats took place in Mali.
Wow.
About 7 attempted coup d'etats. I have some friends within the cycles. And about 7 attempted coup d'etats. But you see, like I say, we have learned from the mistakes of our forebears. And so the things that you could easily do, you can't do them today. How you could easily overthrow Kwame Nkrumah, how you could easily get Patrice Lumumba. You know how Patrice Lumumba was overtaken because he was seen as the biggest threat to French colonialists. How you overtook Thomas Sankara, you cannot do it today. Because the literature is abound. We have learned all these tactics. And most of these soldiers that have taken over actually have studied the French system. They were considered darling boys of France. Unknown to them, they were actually understanding to get to know the modus operandi of the French system. And that is how come that when there was the coup d'etat or the takeover in Mali, the Malians quickly said that, look, France, you came in to say that you wanted to breach the insurgency. You wanted to curb it. For more than 10 years, you have not succeeded. We want you to give us a chance to try it by ourselves. And soon as France was leaving, they were not happy. But they came smiling, exchanging flags. Soon after they left, you know what they did? France went and mobilized and went and supported the insurgents to come and launch attack on Timbuktu and other places. It was only when they launched the attack and they were repelled and they suffered casualties. Then France then started saying that no, the kind of artillery that they met could not have come from the Malian forces. When they picked some of the shells, they realized that they were of Russia, and that was how come France said that Russian mercenaries were in Mali. How did France get to know that Russian mercenaries were in Mali? When you French soldiers were in Mali, were you considered mercenaries? When they decided to go and bring Russians to come there, then you, France, then decide to tell them that they are mercenaries. How is that possible? And so, let France know. Let the European Union know. Let the United States of America know that as they claim that everybody has an inalienable right to live and to self-determination, so are the people of Africa. The people of Burkina Faso are happy. Despite that, it is a military system. They are happy. They move around free. You don't hear the kind of troubles that used to occasion because they know that this government is doing for them what they want or they needed to have been done. Have you seen what has happened in Mali? Nobody from Ibrahim Boubacar's Keita's government was taken out. Everybody stayed. You had to justify the source of your wealth. Mali, you had to justify the source of your wealth. Burkina Faso, you have to justify the source of your wealth. If you go to Niger, the finance minister was called to come and justify how they use the state finances. And what was he doing? He was crying because, hey, they could not account for it. So when you cannot account and justify, and they see that this is ill-gotten wealth, it's confiscated and used. In Guinea, they took monies from Alpha Condé and his family, and they started building schools, constructing hospitals, fixing the things that they were not ready to fix. Monies collected from appointees and officials of Alpha Condé have been able to fix schools, has been able to fix roads, have been able to fix hospitals. You think that the people are unhappy? They are certainly happy. They are transforming themselves. And you know, next year, February, was the transition period for the government of Mali to begin to see how they were going to transit into a civilian regime. If you start deploying tactics of wanting to overthrow the government, they will be tightening themselves to stay in power for long. And I think that France and the European Union and the United States of America in particular must be told that the African is wide awake. We will not allow the continuous exploitation of African resources using their proxy institutions of the IMF and other institutions of multilateral corporations, as they claim, to take away from Africa and render us poorer. Africa will not succeed under that path.
Thank you very much. Let me come to Honorable Sini, but let me say good morning to Mr. George Isi, who just joined us, albeit a tad late. Good morning, Mr. Isi.
Yeah, good morning, Bless.
Honorable Sini, can you?
Yes, no, not always late. Bless,
Did you see your name?
Yes.
I
think that after Bernard Mona has spoken on this subject, it becomes monotonous to spend a lot of time on it. He is somebody who has not only read or watched the politics of Africa, and for that matter, West Africa. He has been deeply involved in some of the, fights and protests, like you yourself said. So his protests sometimes has gone international. So after he's spoken on it, it becomes monotonous for one to waste more time on it. Except to say that if you watched the speech that was delivered by the Minister of State for Burkina Faso at the or is it still an ongoing UN summit. If you listen to the speech that the Minister of State for Burkina Faso, Basolma, presented, you will understand why Burkina Faso will become a target. Because he laid it bare and he asked very difficult questions that anybody associated with France and the imperialists will want to shut down. He asked the questions anybody associated with imperialism will want to shut down. A conversation that will not be in the interest of the imperialist. And so I am not surprised that few days after the speech at the UN, that highlighted the unholy interest of France in the Sahel and in West Africa, especially the Francophone West Africa, and how behind the scenes they are responsible not only for the underdevelopment of the countries that they show this unholy interest in, but also for the so-called terrorism that they are pretending to be fighting. I mean, like the question he asked, we have over 10,000 military officers in these Francophone countries, maybe including Nigeria, Mali, Burkina Faso, and others, from either France, the United States of America, Italy, and others. And these 10,000 army officers wield the most sophisticated weapons. They fly in the most sophisticated, drones and aircrafts. And yet, they are never able to see the hundreds of terrorists on the borders of these countries. They are not able to crush them. They are not able to flush them out. So what is the essence of their presence on our borders? Is it to indirectly, through imperialism, control our states and determine for us governments that will appear to be serving our interests but indeed be serving their interests? Or what? And so when you have the new leadership of Burkina Faso fighting imperialism, seeking a second independence, this time a holistic one for its people, and calling the shots and determining the kind of governance that best serves their interest. Interest that is contradicting the interest of France. You not think that you shouldn't expect that some of these things, occurrences will be spared. You shouldn't think that the government will be spared some of these occurrences. I'm just happy that the news is that they have been able to control that this far. And I am excited by the show of support that the citizens have so far exhibited. Because it is true what our people say, that the enemy outside can do very little damage without collaboration from the enemy within. And that is how in the past many of our freedom fighters and our, visionary leaders were taken, overthrown, and assassinated, with collaborators always from within. And so far, I think that these French or formerly French-controlled countries, with the new leadership that is emerging, seems to be enjoying a lot of support from the citizens. And perhaps it is because of their experiences in the past. They are saying never again will they sit by or stand by and watch our prophets, like Bob Marley puts it, taking one after the other. And so I wish them well. It is important that, especially for us in Ghana, that these countries who are our immediate neighbors get not only their development paradigm right, but their politics right as well. Because invariably, it has a symbiotic impact on us as a country. And I wish them well. And I also hope that we will learn. Because you see, what is happening in these countries, Ghana is not insulated from those happenings. We still have, neo-colonialism lurking in many corners when you look deeply into the policies that are championed by our governments. we also, apart from the neo-colonialism bit, have issues of failed governance that lead to anger. That leads to anger. And that also seems to be uniting the youth of this country around a certain call. A call, if not well managed, can lead to, if you like, protests in the like of the Arab Spring, which led to the toppling of governments. And so we need to be very careful that we do not implement policies or conduct ourselves in ways that will further the anger that exists among the youth of today. Because if we do, the democracy that we have nurtured over the years, that we think has become entrenched, may just be toppled for the West. And I say the West because experience will tell us that the West form of democracy continue to be better than the best form of
military
rule.
Right.
And so it is important that we do not let people begin to think that they don't have a choice, and so they will rather dance with the devil. Let's watch it. As much as I wish the citizens of Burkina Faso and countries like Burkina Faso, or countries going through similar situations in Burkina Faso well, I think that Ghana needs to take a cue and watch the things we do, especially those of us with the privilege of being in leadership, so that our people do not think that the West form of governance is better than this period. That's this period, which is really not the best, but we have an opportunity in this period to make a choice, and that choice can give us hope of a better tomorrow, and that we must always take advantage of.
Right.
Let's not, in my view, our problem has been that many times, many of us in this country tend to put our votes on autopilot.
Yep.
And it is scary. But even yesterday, in fact, I saw a conversation between, a very level-headed person and another friend of mine, a level-headed person, because this was, someone in banking. Bless. And this was a conversation in which the person was complaining to this other friend of mine about the embarrassment his party is causing him. And this is not somebody in party leadership, so you will say he is stuck. He's just a mere sympathizer of the new Patriotic Party. And in this conversation, he was complaining about how nothing is going right in this country, how disappointed he is in his own party that he supported and voted for. And when the suggestion was made to him that, then 2020, we'll have to vote for change, the person's response was like, Apu. And I was like, what's wrong with us? Why? Why is it difficult for us to face the truth and make the difficult choice?
Right.
A choice that, if for nothing at all, gives an opportunity for us to try again, reset. But a lot of us put our votes on autopilot. And I think that we should not be afraid. We should not be afraid to do what we have never done before.
Right.
When we are seeking something different. Because it is in doing what we have never done before that we may just chance upon what is better. Otherwise, we leave our people no choice. And that, for me, is not where we should be aspiring to get to. But I am excited, finally, about the politics that we are currently seeing in Francophone Africa.
Right.
I think that many of their leaders in the past have allowed, their former colonial masters to dominate their economies and their development paradigm for a very long time. And that, in the long run, has not inured to the benefits of their people. And this new wave of taking ownership of their countries and ownership of their decisions, I think will go a long way to impact not only West Africa positively, but Africa in general.
Right. Thank you very much, Honorable Suhuyini. Let me come to Mr. George Isi on this subject matter as well. I'm sure you've been following, despite the fact that you didn't start the show with us. We've been having conversations in relation to Burkina Faso, where there has been an attempted coup, but the coup has been foiled by the current junta leading the country. Your thoughts?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you. Good morning to the Honorable Suhuyini. Good morning to your production crew and our viewers. The Burkina Faso counter-coup attempt, which has been foiled. To be honest with you, I thought Honorable Suhuyini touched on it, that we cannot be glorifying the evil because the other option doesn't seem to be helping us, so we'll make do. It's like the sub-region is between the devil and the deep blue sea. Right. Where do we go? Two things. I look at the Burkina Faso, and for that matter, the Francophone countries' issues on two grounds. I'm not in support of coup d'etats. And I don't wish any military junta taking over and governing any African country in these days and time. However, as the earlier speaker said, it's like it is a revolution to own and possess their countries and sever relationship with France. Because if you look at what the engagement between the Francophone countries and France is doing to them, is not inuring to their benefits, especially when you read some of the treaties. We say their natural resources are taken bought at ridiculous prices, and yet the money is kept in the French central bank, and then when they want their money, they take it as a loan and pay interest. Who does that? You get it? Why? Why will you be so callous to your own countries? Okay, but we trace it to the independence days. Okay, sometimes because when most of these, my understanding was that most of these Francophone leaders were identified earlier, some of them taken to Sorbonne University and other universities, given the kind of training, and then indoctrinated into the Francophone lifestyle. You get it? And then they saw that, okay, that was some sort of bourgeoisie, and then they felt they had to come and replicate that here. Okay, and so that gave them the leeway to agree to all those ridiculous treaties that were put on the table. I don't imagine why anyone should do that. That my central bank is with you, and then everything I get here, it comes there before you give me. I mean, it doesn't sit well, and it rather impoverishes the people the more. I think it's about time they take their destiny into their own hands and then begin to chart their own path and build the country they want. All the Francophone countries in Africa, I think they need to take that step. And that is the basis upon which I think if the coup d'etats are geared towards liberating them from that stranglehold, I would consider it as a revolution, and we need to support that revolution. However, I don't want to believe that, as Chairman Bernard Modena said, that they see certain wealth of some people within a country and then they are using it to build schools. That is populist, and we don't have to encourage that. We have been, all of us have been in this country during the revolution days. He knows better there. Okay, 1979, 1981. What didn't we do? Rawlins marshaled all the students of Ghana, and it was very popular. You get it? Carrying cocoa and all that. We did all that. What happened? PAMSCAD and all that, economic recovery programs and all, we went through all that. Ultimately, what happened? Okay, we had to get on the streets calling for democracy, which democracy has lasted about 30 years now. Okay, people may disagree with the governance process at any time T. The consoling aspect is that they have the option that in the 4 years' time, they can go to the polls and decide whether to retain the government or to change the government. That option is there for the Ghanaian. That is for the Ghanaian and some other African countries. Okay, so I think it's a good option, no matter what. That's why I agree with the Honorable Suhini that the best form of the dictatorship or coup paste and others cannot be equated to, say, let's say, the worst form of democracy, because you have options. In that dictatorship, you don't have any option. They do what they want, and when they come, the populist approach from the beginning, so they marshal the people around, and then after that they begin to enjoy the largesse of the office, okay, and then leave the people to their fate. We've seen some in Africa. And so Burkina Faso, yes, if it's a revolution, which revolution, the counter coup, I don't know, from the submissions, I think people think it's a deliberate attempt by an external force to, you know, get these people out. If it is, and it's been foiled, come on, we wish there to move on and get democratic, if that is what will help them. If they are determined to get out of this French stranglehold, I support it in 1,000%. Let's get peace in Burkina Faso. And as we said, Bernard Mona Chairman has said it many times on this platform, that if you think Mali, Burkina, Niger, they have problems, so it's their problems. Onion prices in Ghana, we are bearing the brunt. Right. You get it. So when it happens there, they say when Niger sneezes, in terms of tomato and onions and co, Burkina and co, Ghana will catch a cold. On that score, we cannot ignore what is happening there. But if it's going to end, the popular nature of it, that's why I say if the people wish, because it's popular because of the French angle. You get it. And I agree with them. They need to leave that unholy marriage between them and France so that they begin to chart their own path. We wish Burkina Faso well. The leadership there, if they have plans of transitioning democratically, let them roll out the timetable. If they don't, let's know what their plans are for their country. Are they going to be military team for how many years or what until they succeed in civil relationship with France, and then they can build their nation, or what? Sometimes dictatorship in a form, you cannot ignore it completely. Do you know why? If you look at the Singapores of the world, if you look at the Rwandas of the world, even though they are having elections and cool, where we all know what's going on, you get it. So it's the consistent nature and the long term of it sometimes is able to, if the leader has good vision, is able to lay the foundation for takeoff. But the people cannot express their views and go. That's why in the Ghana coup d'etat in 1966, it was popular, if you read the history, because people felt they were gagged. Okay, in spite of the evidence that there were developments and all that, people were not having the free environment to express themselves. And so on that score, people were excited and came to the street. Later, historians are writing, to them it wasn't the best for us. But we got our freedom thereafter. So we wish Burkina, Niger, Mali, Guinea, all of them well, but seizing people's wealth and then using it to build schools and co, I don't think is the way to go.
Okay.
Right. I wanted to ask you a question on the conversation regarding the form of democracy. I think we've often said that Africa needs to practice its own type of democracy. Now, you made an example of Rwanda, where elections are being held every now and then, but we know that on the side, we know what is really happening. What should be the type of democracy that Africa should practice? Oftentimes we've said it, but we've not really come to a conclusion on what particular type we should resort to. What is the African type of democracy?
Do you know what? The African type of democracy, I heard a prominent citizen saying I think he's a chief. He wouldn't come for this our democracy politics we are doing. For 8 years maximum we were out. No, he's a chief. He's there till death. You get it? So, that is the psyche of the African as far as leadership is concerned. So they get in, they want to sit there till eternity. Or are we taking the Western one, which says after 4, 5, or 7 years, you cannot, you go for re-election and then you leave? Let's have the engagement. But psychologically, it is ingrained in us and our tradition and co. People ascend the throne till death. You get it? And so people have that notion that that should be the kind of democracy we should be having. And Rwanda seems to be showing something that when you stay for long, and I've read Lee Kuan Yew, and the number of years there also gave him the opportunity to be able to, implement the visions and co. What do we want? Do we want the kind of democracy we are practicing now? I think, yes. President Kufuor called for Ghana's case should be like 5 years instead of the 4 years, okay? 7, eh? Okay, wow. So 7 for 1 term, right? Okay, if that is what we should consider, let's consider that. And look at some French countries are practicing the 5, 7 years. How is it going? Let's look at it. Or you get on the throne till thy kingdom come. That one, I don't think it will help. One-party state. That's what Osagyefo wanted to implement and then got the resistance and all that. So let's look at it going forward. The African one, you've put it on the table. Fortunately, we have an honorable member of parliament, a former party chairman and a traditional ruler here. Maybe they will be able to do more justice to this issue. So the debate has just begun. Let's discuss.
So, but I think that it's a conversation we talk about, but we leave it vaguely like that. We don't really come to a conclusion with the exact type that we want to practice.
I don't think that is your 2 hour or 1.5 hours is sufficient.
It's enough to discuss, right?
I will recommend you to try to host Nana Kobina Nkesia, the Omahini of Esikado, who has written extensively on this subject matter.
Right.
And I'm sure that we all will be inspired and educated about what he thinks should be done. But I just wanted to prompt IEC to the fact that whether you are aware that the dialysis center at Kolebu, which is the center of our healthcare in this country, the dialysis center just last week, when patients got there from 360 per session, it went to 760.
Kolebu has denied. They say it's not been implemented yet.
Can I make the point?
Okay.
Kolebu did not deny.
I think they've been asked to.
No, Kolebu did not deny. I will tell you what they did. And yesterday, Dr. Bayu was on platform and when I spoke, he was very disappointed in the management and the way. Because if you have not decided on something, why do you publish it?
Yeah.
You publicize the notice. And so when people started to come, they paid.
Oh, okay.
They paid. And they were complaining. It was after the public outcry that you went and said that, oh, this is something that you are proposing. Do you propose something on a notice board?
Yes.
You don't propose on a notice board. You are informing the people that from this day...
They take it to the board.
Yeah, you have to take it to the board for the board to approve before it comes. So when it comes into the notice board, it means that thing is final. So they are doing damage control. Okay. So you understand. So let's get it. Now, if dialysis cost is what?
700.
765.
Right.
765.
I'm just saying this, and I beg you to indulge me. Some $1.5 million is said to have been stolen or taken by house helps of a minister. When you take the total sum of money that minister is supposed to earn, plus all the bonuses and things that the person has to earn, within the period, it will not be up to the 1.5 million that was stolen, not money that she has. Later, we are even told that monies in her bank account is in excess of $5 million. When you have a situation where dialysis, people who are suffering kidney problems, cannot pay money. If you take $1 million, can you imagine what it will do for dialysis patients in a year? When such monies, if they are traced, and you cannot account for how you got the money, and we know that you went and you claim you evacuated Odo River for 43 million Ghana cedis, dollars.
It's not true. It's not.
You said you were dredging 5 landfills plus Odo, 43 million. And then we find this amount of money in you when it's confiscated and used to support dialysis patients. It is not bad at all. So I'm not calling for. I'm saying that people must justify the source of their income.
Yes.
And that is what they did in Guinea. That is what they did in Mali. That is what they are doing in Niger. That look, you have been in the hem of affairs. We knew you when you were a classroom teacher. As soon as you became Minister for Finance, we can see what you have. Come and justify your source of income. If you are not able to justify, and then we still find money on you, we take the money and do these things that the society ought to have been given, and they were not given.
That's why we have the OSP.
You see, so that is not bad at all. So, I wish that we could have a system that will go around appointees. Unfortunately, you are not one of the people they will get money from. They will go around appointees' homes. They will go into their bank accounts. And at the end of the day, I see you'll be surprised that all these monies that we are looking for from the IMF and the World Bank, we will not actually need any money there. The money has been stolen and it's with us.
But you've not been able to ascertain that.
Let's proceed to our next topic for discussion. We've spent so much time. We spent so much time on the first one. Let's come back to Ghana. Alan Sets NPP Abuzz party splits on fair treatment debate. Alan Sets NPP Abuzz party split on fair treatment debate. From Monday, since Monday, Alan Chamanting has been roaming the radio and TV stations he's been around and he's been talking, and I know that the NPP held a press briefing, I think on Tuesday at around 2 p.m. They wished him well, and they asked the party members to remain resolute. I've also heard that anybody who decides to join him would be dismissed from the party. Is that true? It's right. But issues about treatment, as this paper captures, has been rife in the public space, I think, for the past few months. Some people actually even believe that this whole flag bearership thing of the new Patriotic Party is skewed towards one person. According to some persons, some Machiavellian tactics, if you'd say, has been employed by persons in government in order to ensure that one person, becomes the flag bearer of the party, that person being the Vice President, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. As to whether there's any iota of truth or not in that, I think the President himself has said repeatedly that he has got nothing to do with the ongoing elections. Yeah.
That's the truth.
Well,
he's got all of them that even killed to go and prove themselves. That's what he's done.
But then again, we've had persons who are in leadership positions of the party. For instance, the majority leader of parliament, Honorable Seche Mensabon, so he has taken sides. Is that supposed to be the case? Aren't we supposed? So he's allowed, according to the party constitution.
The constitution, the only group is the National Executive Committee. Okay. I think, yes. No, but come to think of it.
Part of the party leadership?
He is chairman of the PNC. Are you telling me, as chairman of the PNC, former chairman, he didn't have an iota of idea the direction he wants his party to go? Are you telling me that as a political party, we shouldn't have an idea who we want to lead at any time T? That doesn't mean you have to scheme to bring the person. But once the party is united behind somebody they think should be leading at any time T, why? People will begin to, if the party doesn't have that idea, then what is the party? Politician from the grassroots.
So the very fact that 9 out of 10 said that let's have this at one place.
Yes.
And the party leadership decides.
You see.
And the party leadership decides that they are going to take the opinion of one person who says no. Let us have it in regions.
No. For the records, Dr. Bawumia said, he said he doesn't have a position on that thing. Whatever the leadership decides, he will go with it.
Of course, because
that's what he said.
He's comfortable with the leadership.
Now let's come to the issue. Let me say this. This is an experienced politician. Experienced politician sitting here. Okay, we have come from grassroots and co. He's been from there, he's been at the top for long. Tell me what they are saying. The 9 people is akin to saying that after filing 2024 elections, some 3, 4, or 5 presidential candidates can tell the Electoral Commission to change the rules of the game. That is what we are saying. Look, the Electoral Commission has its own rules of engagement. The party has its own rules, constitutional positions. Okay? For instance, it is a constitutional position that when the flag bearer race is open and we have more than one, okay, there will be a contest. Which contest will say 1 man, 1 vote? It is in the Constitution. And so their proposition was to vary the constitutional position. And the National Council doesn't have that power. Okay? National Council, we must go for a Congress. So why do you want National Council to go and acquiesce to that? And 2, you were saying that let's centralize it. Why? The Constitution also says let's get a place to do the election. Okay? Whether centralized or regional, they are all constitutional basis. Okay? And the people, the National Council voted, they listened to you. Okay? Those 9 of them, all of them were not members of National Council, but they were permitted to appear before the National Council and make their case. What is more democratic than this? They made their case, it was subjected to a vote, and 73 members of the National Council said, no, we cannot do that. Let's go ahead. And you say, because you are a participant, you have power over the rules? No, Honorable Suhini, I don't think this is how we should go. You haven't spoken, but forgive me. You get it? This is not the way we should chart our democratic path. Before you file, the rules are there. They are given to you. The constitution of the party is there.
This is how we are going. Okay? There are some parties, candidates want George Boateng will go to the office and will not even get nomination forms. We don't have that. You get it? Because parties know the path to tread. But it doesn't mean we are biased towards one person. Why? Otherwise, we will not be worrying ourselves having this short listing of 5 people to go and contest.
Maybe it's a mere formality.
No. People have the right to choose who they want. Okay? The delegates, we have 200,000 delegates. Okay? Once upon a time in University of Ghana, Legon, that place we were taking only chairmen. Only chairmen. Okay? And we'll bring them, the executives plus just some chairmen, they will assemble and then they will decide. We've gone beyond that. We have electoral college of about 200,000. Yes. I missed you. Chairman, I missed you. Allow me. I'm chopping my home case. 200,000 people. Look, I heard Chief Alan say his message resonates with the grassroots. Okay? And that, I didn't dispute that. I thought, go to the grassroots and make the case. Okay? Look, the super delegates, they are not appointees. I disagree with those who are saying they are appointees in there are not more than 21 or so out of the 961. All others were elected people. Okay? And so, if these people, you think they are elites, and so they will, dance with those things, leave them. Fortunately, you've qualified and you are within the first 5. Go to the grassroots and make your case. Okay? Let them decide. 200,000 people. You think somebody can carry a whip on 200,000 people and let them dance to their tune? Okay? Let me tell you something. In 2007, the establishment candidate was Chief Alan Chemartin. True or false?
Is Bawumia the establishment candidate
No,
in 2023?
now, that's the rumor. Okay, I'm not going to sit here to deny it.
Was it a rumor then?
Yes, it was all over.
Okay.
But it was given affirmation then when the then president decided to fire people who were not dancing to the tune. My own brother, Abdullah Razak, DC for Kintampo, suffered. Gambila, former that regional minister there, said he was sacked because he was dancing a different tune. Okay? A lot of people, this one, there's a cabinet minister who was following Chief Alan, goes from campaign grounds, drives straight to cabinet meetings, and the president will be laughing at him. You get, the president, we met the president, he said, look, he comes to meeting, we laugh, we have carry out cabinet discussions, then he goes back as a deputy minister of finance, okay, was moving with Alan. Nobody is touched. I was in a meeting, the president called one guy, MP. He called him, look, Sly, are you not following person A? Sly said, Your Excellency, yes. He said, good. Have I ever picked my phone and called you to stop what you're doing? You know, Sly is, almost a friend or something to the president's wife. Okay? Family, relative. You get it? Then the president asked Sly, have I given you any appointment? He said, Your Excellency, yes. So what appointment is that? He said, I'm a board chairman. Have I called you to question you about where you are? He said, no. Good. What I want is do your work. Follow your candidate. The others also will follow their candidates. At the end of the day, let's go and decide how people prosecute their campaign. Come on. And 2, the party says the allegations is made are unfounded. It's not the case. Look, Chief Alan, I'm sorry to say this. It seems that it will be difficult for him to win and be on the ticket of the MPP as the leader. He has said that. Okay, especially when it came that Kenny Japan beat him to the 3rd place. And so he's not too happy. Let's even assume that, yes, there's an establishment candidate, they are skewing things. What about Kenny Japan? How come Ken beat Chief Alan? How come? Okay, so please, he has decided to go out
to be a butterfly and to contest on his own ticket. We wish him well. We cannot wish him more than that. But constitutionally, it is wrong if George AEC decides to follow Chief Alan. Automatically, I'm leaving my membership of the NPP. I'm kissing a goodbye to it. A clear case is that of our own NDCs, one of my favorite guys those days, Kakri Samoa. Okay? Crossfire. He knows. Honorable Suhini will know. Joy. He's a media giant. So, Crossfire. He was repping as solid. Now he's gone to the NDC and he's doing well with them. You get it? It pains me.
From NDC too.
Yes, yes. So these people cross carpet, but Chief has decided to go independent. But be honest to the truth, Chief, that these things, who has done what? One person was beaten. It is a fact, Bless. It is a fact that that guy was beaten. It's not fair. But it's not proper for the guy to have confronted somebody you claim had shown his ballot. Is that how it is? Ask Chairman Bernard and Honorable Suhini whether that is how, if I have been a polling station officer many years, it is when you see an infraction, you report to the EC. And the EC
doesn't
gets
legitimize.
the police. You don't take the law into your hands.
But it doesn't legitimize the brutality meted out on.
No, if you are coming to stop me, I'll resist. Okay? That is it. It's an attack. He shouldn't have done that in the first place. That's how come the disciplinary committee is looking into that matter. Okay? So allow the disciplinary committee to finish. I'm telling you, there was a thought that it's not going to work. So let me go on my own. That's why I say we wish him well. But as a party, we are going to remain solid behind whoever will be elected the candidate or the flag bearer for the MPP for the 2024 election.
Thank you very much.
Chief Alan and Co, well, it's okay, it's good. The director said 2008 we should have asked him to go. Okay, but we pleaded, he stayed, and now nobody should go for him to come back. Let him be. He should form his independent movement. Let's go into the 2024 contest. And I tell you,
thank you very much.
The impact will be minimal or next to zero.
George AEC, thank you very much. Let me come to Honorable Suhini. What is the? I've seen persons in the NDC, jubilate over this decision of Alan to resign from the NPP. According to them, they believe is clear signal that the party is in disarray, and that would in turn, to the benefit of the NDC, especially going into the 2024 elections. Do you share in such sentiments?
One thing you have said that is true is that indeed the NPP is in disarray. There's turmoil. But the other part I disagree with is that it does not automatically translate into better fortunes.
Daily guide.
Sorry. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that one thing you have said that is true is that the NPP indeed is in disarray. But the part I disagree with is the assumption that it necessarily translates into better fortunes
for the NDC.
For the NDC. Right. It doesn't. And so the fortunes of the NDC will be determined by the work that we put into our campaigns on the field. But before this conversation was the conversation about unexplained wealth.
Yeah.
And I have been, a supporter of that, move for a very long time now. I mean, if we want to make proceeds of corruption and illicit, acquisition of wealth, prohibitive, it is the way to go. If you are found living a certain lifestyle, affording certain, expensive things, and you are able to justify how you came by that wealth, no crime. You live your life. But if you are not able to, then, the state, if for nothing at all, should be able to confiscate that and apply it to better use. But, with this alarm thing, I was listening to my friend and former comrade, and he knows why I call him former comrade. And I was surprised at the tangent that he took. You know, one, he said, for a party like the New Patriotic Party, without using the word, he suggested that it would be foolhardy for the leadership not to have an interest in the direction that the party goes. He said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That it would be, I mean, for leadership, they should have an idea how they want the party to go.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you. But you know what? Then he says that 9 people out of the 10 contesting disagreed with a structure, a system that was put in place by the party for this election. That 9 candidates disagreed with the system that was put in place by the leadership that he says should have an idea how they want the party to go. 9 disagree with the system that they put in place. And 1 said, oh, I'm comfortable. And he doesn't see anything wrong with that. Why? 1, Bless. He says that the leadership should have an idea. And so if you are leadership and you had an idea, obviously the system you will put in place will lend effect on the idea.
Oh, this is mischief.
Are you getting it? Yeah. So why will I be surprised if the one that will benefit from that system doesn't have a problem with it? Of course he will not have a problem with it.
Yeah.
You see, of course. That's why the vice president didn't have a problem with it. Because he knows that the idea the leadership of the party has about how the party should go favors him.
Yeah.
So any system they put in place will favor him. Now put that aside. I am surprised that my brother doesn't see that the system. I mean, why do people advertise in politics and in anything? It's to make it easy for the buyer to choose them. Yeah. And the advertisement puts you or whatever product is being advertised ahead of any other person when a choice is supposed to be made. Right. Not so. Right. And I'm sure that you know about the mass effect, bandwagon effect in politics and in any marketing tool. Bandwagon effect. The bandwagon effect is there. So you have a super delegates, about 900 of them. That 900 can easily be bought. As an advertiser, I mean, if I'm a candidate, instead of, I mean, I don't have to put up billboards. I don't have to do adverts on TV. The budget for adverts can be used to cater for the 900. Because you know what? If I get all the 900 choosing me, that's bigger advertisement than a billboard on the road.
Yeah, true.
Are you getting me?
I get you.
Because it will translate in that bandwagon effect. So the 9 say that no, don't let this election be about who is best among the 900. Because anybody can buy that best among the 900. Let the people who are going to vote choose their best 5. That way, when they enter, they choose 5 people. At the end of the day, you aggregate the votes and determine your best 5 among the 900. So that way, no one can have an advantage over the other. You will all emerge as best 5. So that no one will benefit from that bandwagon effect. And you say no, and you say it has no impact.
Constitutional change.
No, but I'm saying that, but you should know that it has an impact. No, but you agree with me now that it has an impact.
No.
Of course.
The psychology of it. I agree, absolutely.
So clearly, the 9 they knew what they were talking about. And the leadership of the party standing their ground also knew the system they were putting in place. And they knew the benefits that was going to come from it. I mean, if I am a candidate, and I do my research, and my research shows that I am more popular with the 900 than the 200,000. But I also know that the 900, the choice of the 900 will have an impact on the 200,000. I invest more on the 900.
Right.
It's only logical. And that's what perhaps Dr. Baumia did. The research I haven't seen, but it's possible, may have suggested that Chief Alan and others are more popular with the grassroots. So, but the 900 is malleable.
You think so?
I'm saying.
Okay.
But the 900 is malleable. So, you had the sums of money, in some cases gold bars, that were distributed in that election of the 900. Pickups. That were given. Yes, we had them in the Ashanti region. Yes, pickups that were given out. I mean, it is public knowledge. The hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Ghana cedis that were given to individuals in that election. So they put their money where their mouth were, and Alan saw it. But you see, as for me, Bless, I have no sympathies for Alan. Absolutely not. I don't have any sympathies for him at all. Because why? One, in 2007, I saw the campaign, and George Isi may have exaggerated, but the truth is that at the time also, Chief Alan was considered the establishment candidate, which he is now fighting belatedly. When I watched him yesterday on, I think, City, he made the point correctly, but in my view, it's too late in the day. Why do people hate President Kufuor? Why are they tying him to President Kufuor? He's his own man. He should have fought that long ago. But the truth is that in 2008, he was the establishment candidate. And others may have also suffered, you know, some of these biases, deliberately or not. But somehow, I mean, they endured. I'll put it that way. They endured. So for me today, if the scale has tilted against him, I don't have any tears for him. That's one. Two, Bless. I mean, Chief Alan has been in this country and has heard us, especially those of us in the NDC who have been speaking about the danger Nana Akufo-Addo represents in our democracy. And he has been, in some cases, even a promoter of that danger. Why? In the 2016 election, didn't he even become the spokesperson on trade for Nanado? Again, he was introduced as the, you know, economic management team. What a solid team. He was part of it. Even then, many of us spoke about the danger Nana Akufo-Addo represents for our democracy. And I don't know what people want to see, what more people want to see before they come to that conclusion that this man, His Excellency, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, is the most dangerous thing that our democracy has ever experienced. Look, why? Even in opposition, Bless, even in opposition, Nana Akufo-Addo indebted his party. He indebted his party. He used, through Ken Oforiatta, the same Ken Oforiatta, he borrowed money from NIB without the knowledge of the party executives. And you know about it.
I don't know.
Did I say NIB? Prudential Bank. Sorry. Prudential Bank.
So you know about Prudential Bank?
He does. He knows. He can't say he
No,
doesn't.
it's a party position. It was the party, not...
Listen, why was the chairman of the party and the general secretary of the party at loggerheads with Nana Akufo-Addo and his team over that indebtedness? Even in opposition, he indebted his party. Are you surprised that he has indebted Ghana to these levels?
Oh, come on.
No, are you surprised? No, are you surprised? Our people say that the chicken that will grow into a cock is spotted the very first day it is hatched. So even in the management of his party, he indebted the party in
Are you
opposition.
sure? It's the party, not him.
So even when he becomes president and he takes our debt to unsustainable levels, unprecedented levels,
Whoa.
are you surprised? Even in opposition, managing
surprised.
his party, he changed his
Honorable
party chairman out.
He's changing the topic. Oh.
Do you understand? He changed his party chairman out. He changed his party general secretary out.
They went out. They went out.
Who stood his ground against him got out of the party. Are you therefore surprised that that confusion led even to the death or the murder, not the death, the murder of the original chairman?
Yes.
So why are we surprised, Bless, that when 2020 he's faced with defeat, people died, 7, 8 of them died. For the first time, you see, for the first time in our general elections,
surprised.
during elections, we lost lives.
Wow.
For the first time since 1992. And you know how he described it? A few deaths in his acceptance. A few. So for him, more could have died. For all he cares, once he was declared president. And so I'm not surprised that
What shows those deaths were not deliberately caused by your team? When your chairman had made a case that they were going to.
I'm not surprised. Even I see
blackmail the
in his
government.
submission right now,
Yes.
tells you that, oh, what is Alan crying about? It's only one person who was beaten. One is not even. I mean, is that something that you should even encourage?
No. I was saying he caused
That
it.
only one
The
person. And
beating,
now
no.
he even caused it.
Yes,
Yes,
he
no
caused it.
justification.
Yes,
so
that's it.
the best way
Yes.
to deal with, a misconduct in an election is to beat the person.
No, he's coming
No,
to
that's why
attack
he
you.
said that he caused the beating.
Self-defense.
So the best way to deal with a misconduct during an election is to beat or kill the person.
No.
I'm not surprised you are supporting Nana Akufo-Addo.
No.
Because that's what he thinks.
Wow.
So you see, clearly, in my view, Alan saw all of this and stood in and promoted it. So if today he is a victim of what he has promoted, I have no tears for him. I absolutely have no tears for him at all. But, like I said, for me and the NDC, the fortunes of our party at the 2024 polls is largely dependent on the work that we do on the ground.
Yes.
And that is why I will want to commend the minority group for the consistency and the commitment to exposing to the people of Ghana the rot in almost every sector of the economy that this government has, caused. The focus of late has been with the Occupy Bank of Ghana, which is only about 5 or 6 days away. And we are inviting the people of Ghana.
Hey, you are doing it.
let
I thought it
us
was
show-
5th September.
Let us show that indeed we are grandchildren and sons of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. Independence was not won on a silver platter. It was won through marches on the streets, through protests and civil disobedience. It is better than toppling our government through the barrel of the gun. We can topple this government with our mass organization that will translate in our votes come December.
Right.
And walk out of this nightmare that we have all been living in. So I encourage the communication unit and others to continue with their public engagements before the protest on Tuesday. And I am expecting that many other such actions will be put in motion, not only to show the anger of the people towards this administration, but also to highlight and expose the rot in the education sector, in the economy, the environment that has been destroyed. And look, when I speak of education as a former teacher, I weep. The distraction. Read reports from, EduWatch and ISODEC and others. Bless, and you will be amazed the decades that it will take us to recover especially basic education, for us to get it back on track. I mean, what kind of education system, syllabus? Look, you were in the college with me, you see. Teachers don't even know what they are teaching today. New syllabi, no syllabi for it. Training today, they are introducing a new academic system. They are changing it. I mean, you speak to teachers and they don't know what is happening. They just go to school and take their salaries at the end of the month. And no teacher is proud of that.
Right.
You know, there are some challenges.
I mean,
Take that.
so what I'm saying is that
it's working
no,
on
so
that.
you change curriculum today, you change it tomorrow, you reverse it back.
Thank you very much.
For how many years?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you very much, Honorable Suhini. I'll do a few messages before I come to.
Now, demonstration don't necessarily change
Mona.
government. 1995, we saw big demos.
Hi. Right. Hi, Bless. Please greet Mr. Isi for me. The only NPP communicator left with a little respect from Ghanaians. Mr. Isi, I admire you so much, most especially your laughter. How angry I am with your party, the NPP and Nanado. But when I listen to you, I get happier. I hope you will speak to the issues the way they are and not try to defend the NPP because it is your party. Master Rahman inside Tuna Solar Kaba in the Savannah region. Thank you very much for your message. Good morning, Bless. The sad truth is that Ghana is not different from these francophone countries in Africa. We are still doing the will of our colonial masters after almost 70 years of independence. Thank you so much for your message. Good morning, my brother, and to Comrade Alasan Suhini. To be frank, Alan has been interviewed, and when I listened to him, okay, your message is not so clear, but this part says, I realize that Alan has nothing new to us as Ghanaians. His heart is still on MPP as a party. So a vote for him is a vote for the MPP. It is a planned thing. So let's be guided and be wise. From Kotuka Courage, inside Angloga Lashibi. Thank you so much. Good morning, I'm Simon. There are two types of leaders. The one who explains what he wants to do but no clue about how to do it. The one who does what he wants to talk about. Baumia talks about what he wants to do and Alan does what he wants to talk about. The talker and the doer. Thank you so much. You didn't add your name to the message. I'm Alasan Abubakar from Sabonzongo. This MPP guy or this MPP. Oh, he's not a guy, please. His name is Mr. Isi. He's the public relations officer of the National Disaster Management Organization.
I've been polling station chairman for 2 terms, so I'm a grassroots man.
Seeking to be the next MP.
Right. Are the so-called ECOWAS leadership taking note of the lawlessness taking place in Ghana? Why are they not thinking of restoring democracy in Ghana? Hypocrites. Asanko from Santa Maria. What is Baumia saying? Has he fulfilled his promise of introducing the sky trains before promising to introduce a car that would not be using petrol? At least he should credit Ghanaians with some decency. Asanko from Santa Maria. Let me come to Chairman Bernard Mona.
Certainly the MPP has been set abuzz, and they are talking, parroting, and shouting. If you listen to Ayesi this morning, you have no conclusion
I like your smoke, so.
that the topic you have put before us is indeed true. I listened to Kojo Mpianim. I listened to Hackman Owusu Ajiman. I've listened to many stalwarts of the MPP who hitherto would not be speaking. And if they are speaking today, because of the decision, singular decision that Alan took, certainly the MPP has been set abuzz. Ayesi was sweating, you remember? When I turned to find out whether the AC was on, in my smoke I was feeling it. But the man was sweating when he was talking.
I'm a warm-blooded animal.
Well, so I'm cold-blooded. You know, what did Alan do? Alan simply says, and no, before I come to Alan, you know, Kojo Mpienim, he has been an MP before. He became chief of staff under President Kufuor. And probably one of the most imposing chief of staffs, that's why his diminutive nature. He comes to say that there cannot be a problem in the NPP away from Akufo-Addo. Listen, this is the former chief of staff, right, who worked with President Kufuor at the time when Akufo-Addo was yanked from the Ministry of Justice and Attorney General to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And he comes to say that there cannot be a problem in the NPP away from President Akufo-Addo. And that if there is any major problem to deal with, we should deal with Akufo-Addo and the manner in which he has disturbed the NPP. Now, this is a man who is an elephant, true and true, and comes to tell us this. How am I going to say that it is not the case? How is that possible? I hope you understand. Number two, I listen to Hackman Osu Ajiman, who says that, look, how can Alan come and claim that it is the Young Executive Forum that raised seed money to support the acquisition of the NPP headquarters, and that he and others raised that money? Then Kwame Kojo Mpienim comes to say, no, it cannot be. That it is you, Hackman. You may be the current chairman of the Council of Elders, but you did not raise the money for the seed capital. The office you gave us is the one opposite the Electoral Commission headquarters, which the MPP use as their amusement club. You remember, when it's time for election, you are there doing amusements. And that is what you have given to the MPP. So is the MPP not set abuzz by Alan's singular decision? I see, Democrats respect peace. In the case of Alan, there was no peace for him. Look, Democrats respect rules and regulations, right? The MPP set out rules and regulations to conduct their elections. One of the rules suggests that nobody should expose your ballot paper when you cast your vote.
Yes.
Because this had also come up that people were going to show their ballot papers to go and take money backstage. And candidates have complained, and the MPP codified it, that don't do it. Then you have somebody who stood to defend the MPP constitution and the MPP rules in the Northeast region and said that you cannot show your ballot paper because it is an affront on the party rules and regulations. And the person is beaten for defending the party rules. The person was mercilessly pummeled. You understand?
You're embellishing his term.
Well, embellishment.
Did you see his eyes? Did you see his eyes?
No, you can show the picture. Your technical people can show the picture that I'm talking about. How the man was beaten. And this is a former deputy minister, I'm told.
No.
Beaten in the manner he was. Then the party says, okay, it's okay. Only one person in the Northeast did not show his ballot. Only the regional minister. Every other person showed their ballot when they casted their vote.
What's the evidence?
Check the video recordings. There was media there. Everybody showed their vote. Only the regional minister did not show the vote. Because the regional minister will not go and take money. Probably it is at his office that the money would be given. So everybody had to show their vote to confirm that we did what you said we should do. so that they can go and take their cash. This is what transpired. Any party will say that by that singular action, that vote was invalid. The entire vote of Northeast would be invalid because you went against the rules. You understand? Yet the party took it, eating it like as if it's ice cream. Somebody's life. Then Kennedy, Japan, he said that his agent was chased away from the polling station, and the man had to go into the room and lock himself. And when he was locking himself, the people thought he was there. He actually had scaled through the window to go into different room. They even broke into the other room, only to realize that the guy was not there. So they thought that it was magic. They didn't know that he passed through the window after locking the door. This should not be tolerated. I'm saying this because, see, we should have allowed the MPP to handle their own thing. But we have seen that anytime political parties begin to be in disarray and society keeps quiet, when those parties come into power, they send that signal into government. Massa, the MPP were attacking each other at their party headquarters. We took it for light. When they came to office, the MPP started attacking you, journalists. You understand? They attacking. They beat Nanka Bruce at the presidency. We thought that the violence was limited only to MPP headquarters. When they got to the presidency, Nanka Bruce, a police officer, was beaten. Beaten. Because they simply transmitted the virus of violence from the MPP into government, and all of us are now helpless. Remember, when the MPP were in power, Afoko was national chairman. No, they were in opposition. Kwabena Japan was general secretary. One day they got to the party office, and Prudential Bank had sent them a demand notice. They owe. And that they should make good their indebtedness. And then they said, no, we have not taken any loan from Prudential Bank. Then they brought them the evidence. They said, no, who are those who entered into this debt agreement? They came and realized that it was Kenofora and Coup who were managing Akufo-Addo's campaign finance. They said, no, that is not party. Then they said, they used MPP party letterhead and signed as MPP. So the matter, you remember Bahachamfo? Bahachamfo took the matter to court, reported the matter to the IGP, that some people have stolen money, and that President Akufo-Addo, then opposition, had taken £100,000 and said he was going to the United Kingdom to go and raise money, and returned with 5,000 pledges. Pledges. Took 100,000. We glossed over this. In government, they are stealing. In government, the people that were handling these things at Afoko and Kwabena, Japan and Co stood and said, no, you cannot use party names to go and do illicit money. Today, they are the people who are ministers of finance. And look at how messless our nation's economy is. We kept quiet. So it is these things that inform that we should also make a contribution to what is happening within the internal party organizations. Finally, on Alan, he has taken a decision to move. Will the MPP keep quiet and allow him to move? The man said he had resigned. Then you come and say you have sacked him. The man resigned, oh?
Yes.
Then you come and say, he resigned, he's no longer a member of your party. Let him go and do what he has to do.
He made allegations which are unfounded.
Which allegation?
So we needed to respond.
That his people were beaten?
Yes, we needed to respond.
That his people were beaten?
Widespread. It's not true.
That is, Kennedy Japan did not say it. Didn't you say, are you not aware that at the party headquarters, Chief of Staff, after voting, went and sat in room and people went and collected monies Oh, Hobson Adoi. Oh, today Hobson is O. Today Hobson is O.
Are you referring to Hobson's allegations?
He said why? He was talking there and there. And asked the journalist, are you not seeing what is happening?
Wow.
So, you see, we can wish Alan well. But there's one thing. You know that Alan said that anytime people support him, they are targeted. In the 2017 Congress, there was no superdelegates Congress. Or special voting.
2017.
2007.
2007.
Yeah.
You know there was no special Congress.
Yeah. The constitution was revised.
So
after
everybody
that.
went and voted.
Yes.
So if you lost because you were not popular. But even that, there was supposed to be a runoff.
Yes. And he chickened out.
And Alan conceded victory to Akufo-Addo and said, look, let's not do this. You are my big brother. Can I make my point, boss? He said, let's not do this. Once you have taken the lead, I cede victory to you. Alan did.
Which politician does that?
And Akufo-Addo in his concession speech, which you have again, reference that, look, the man who gave me the hardest chase would become the next after me.
And that is law?
That's like President Kufuor told me.
Thank you. I love you, Chama.
Somebody say because you are in government, he doesn't want you to be your friend. When you are in opposition, he will call you so that you know that.
The next 30 years.
He said after 2024. So evidently, Akufo-Addo traced how baton has been handed over to the next and to the next, and that is how he was going to do it. Today, Akufo-Addo somersaults. IAC sits here and say that this president, who cannot be trusted any time in the day, that we should trust him. President Akufo-Addo, what has he said? And he has done it.
A lot.
He is the only president in this sun that when there is a malady, he taxes you for a malady. Because when HIV befell the world, nobody brought HIV tax. Nobody has brought malaria tax. Nobody has brought, syphilis tax. But President Akufo-Addo has brought COVID-19 tax. You want to trust that man? The man says something, as ABA will say.
He said he'll give you free as a child.
When he says that, good morning, check the position of the sun, it's actually sunset. So,
Right.
evidently,
He's the most trusted politician.
evidently,
Most trusted.
Alan has been unhappy. He decided to contain it. He got to a certain point, he will not. The many people that supported Alan, watch it. Their constituencies are targeted. Their constituencies are targeted. Majority of them were anti-Ken Ofori-Atta, who said that Ken must go. And so the monies they claim they have written off from the Bank of Ghana, the 32 billion, that is the money they are going to use to undo these MPs.
Oh,
Oh, yes.
you are stretching there.
Oh, yes, I know. That's the money they are going to use, the 32 billion. That they say they have written off. You printed money. Bank of Ghana doesn't sell tomatoes. They don't sell second-hand clothing. They don't sell anything, but they run at a loss. So having run at a loss, and now turn around to say that the people, look, you printed 77 billion.
Bank of Ghana sells things. It's a
They sell-
member to the commercial banks.
Are you done?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
And they are supposed to function as lender of last resort. Today that the Bank of Ghana is broke, comatose, will they function as a lender of last resort?
Right.
So
can
finally-
you wrap up? Yes.
Finally, this disaster we are in is simply because Akufo-Addo wants to put Ken Ofori-Atta, who will come and collapse banks and form CBG, Consolidated Bank Ghana, and ensure that they put their apparatchiks there so that they can continue to muscle the finances of this country even when they are long gone. They have gone to form a development bank using our COVID-19 money to go and raise seed capital. Today, they want to muscle out National Investment Bank. and so that they can take control of the financial sector as is contained in that Ajapadia document authored by Gabi Ochildaku and his team.
Right. Thank you very much, Comrade Bernard Mona. Our time is up. We need to go. But thank you very much, Mr. George AEC. It's always a pleasure. And to you, Honorable Suhuyini.
And this demonstrations and co phenomenal in terms of infrastructure development, social programs and all that. So we'll have a day, we'll talk about it.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. AC. And to you at home for doing the watching. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for doing the watching. Tomorrow is Alaji and Alaji. It comes off at 9 a.m. Make sure you do it. You make time to watch. Bye-bye.